Hey guys, this is Luke again, and yeah, I'm very sorry that I have not posted a Ninjago video for a while, but here we are again with more Ninjago content on the channel. So, yeah, this is going to be my thoughts on the Fire chapter of Season 11, Secret of the Forbidden Spinjitzu. Um, and I'll talk about the good stuff, the bad stuff, and well, and hopefully the ice chapter will be just as good, if not better, than the fire chapter. So let's talk about the fire chapter in general. We start off with the ninja being kind of lazy-ish, and they want to prove to Wu that they're not lazy anymore, and they're not weak. So they said, and I'll do a bunch of shit, which involve, Wu kicking their ass, going to the police station, finding a beetle for some reason. But then episode 5 comes in, and they accidentally release the sorcerers known as Asphira. And Asphira whoops all their asses, takes Kai's power in the process, and starts to rule Ninjago. And then we got a tip from Lil Nelson saying that the ninja were captured by Asphira and locked in chains. But the ninja get out, got rescued by Pixel. I should have probably said a spoiler warning at the head, so sorry for any of you who haven't seen it, which I'm surprised if anyone hasn't seen any episodes from season 11 yet. So back to where I was. Sorry. So episode 7, Pixel saves them all, and then episode 8 we get a stupid news episode, and then episode 9 was Kai talk about how he's basically useless when he doesn't have his power. That's kind of like Kai's character, where he's so dependent on his power that he feels like he's so entirely useless without it. And then we actually know the backstory of Asphira, what happened. Basically, Wu made a promise to her, and Asphira sort of betrayed that promise, thus making her the treacherous deceiver, even though she kind of turns a blind eye for that. So, after we find that out, Asphira heads toward the monastery, not the temple, sorry. And basically tries to, force everyone into surrender, especially Wu. But her plan is unsuccessful as she gets frozen by Zane, banishes Zane to the Never Realm, and the rest of the ninja go to the Never Realm in hopes to save him, but at a cost. They thought that the tea that they used was going to bring them back, but it isn't until they left, Wu says, "Oh, Traveler's Tea does not work in the Never Realm." There's a reason why it's called the Never Realm. It's because they never return. I think it was something along those lines of when he said that. So, yeah, that's what we have so far. The ice chapter is going to be episodes 16 to 30. And let's talk about the good things of season 11 so far. So far, it's very, very interesting. I mean, all the seasons are very interesting. Even the ones I don't personally like that much. But this season is interesting in particular because it's the one it set many firsts. It's the longest season to ever exist even with the fire chapter alone, it's the longest season, being out seasons 1 and 2 with 13 episodes. So it's also the first season that doesn't have previously on Ninjago and doesn't have the episode numbers. A lot of people were kind of pissed about that because they wanted to hear Wu or someone say episode 100. Which, yeah, that was kind of a bummer. And so, but we also got 15 shorter length episodes, which is in turn is around 7.5-ish full episodes, which is just slightly shorter than Rebooted. But then again, Rebooted does have sort of like in the range of the perfect amount of episodes, 8 to 10. Because that's when filler is most likely not going to happen, and basically for that main reason. Just filler, basically no filler happens within this range, 8, 9, or 10 episodes. And most seasons fall under that. We also got introduced to a lot of good characters, like Asphira. I love her. She is miles better than Harumi for me. I know there's a lot of people that like Harumi, but I do not like her as a character. She's alright as a villain, but not great as a character. To me, she's great as a villain and great as a character. So, I liked her. Her voice acting, incredible. And, I just love her backstory. There does need to be a tad more explaining to her, but other than that, she's pretty much a badass. Especially with her lines, "Revenge shall be mine." Hopefully I did that right. If you like that impersonation, harsh a comment if you like my impersonation. But sorry if I'm going out of place. Now let's try and move on to the bad stuff. We also saw Lil Nelson again. We also saw Antonia, which I like Antonia. And we saw the return of Gail Gossip and Vinny. Vinny, oh god. And, we saw some great epic moments and epic fights along the way. But then, let's talk about the bad things. First off, this new format is sort of getting a mixed review. Because a lot of people like it because its character balance is much better than it was with the 22-minute format. I do admit it. It's much better. It's more balanced and not one character shines and the others are really downplayed. But then again, there's a lot of filler in this season. There's like 6 or 7 episodes of filler in just the first half. Nearly half of the fire chapter is filler. That's not good. Even if they were good filler, filler is filler. You can't change it. Even if I like the filler, like The News Never Sleeps, I like that filler, but it's still filler nonetheless. But I got introduced to the most overhyped and most disappointing character in the entire history of the show, Clutch Powers, or Professor Powers, and the stupid dumbass as known as the Explorers Club. So, yeah, a lot of people are making fun of Tommy Andreasen for wanting to do more creativity. Yes, I air quoted that. Because there was an episode of the the ice chapter that's going to be in a different style than most of the other episodes, in sort of like a 3D, 2D animation style. As we saw in a picture with Buff Lloyd. Yeah, I'm also buff. Check it out. And Skinny Nia. We also got introduced to Fugitive, which is a pun on fugitive. Yeah. And it's probably just the prisoners reciting, adventures because there's 2 silhouettes in the background. One is guaranteed to be Kilo, and the other is possibly Harumi, since it's probably going to be after Mr. E was probably killed. So it's probably going to be during around season 8, possibly season 9, during this flashback. But yeah, a lot of people really don't like this new format. They want to see the 22-minute format. But, guys, you gotta fix it. This format's here to stay. I hate to say that, but this new format's here to stay. My friend Daily Lord even made a video on why the season 11 format just flat out doesn't work. You can see it in the upper right corner with the iCards. But yeah. Now let's go over my general overview. While the season is very entertaining with its fights and its characters, it's sort of, downplayed by the amount of filler it is. Like, there are there are filler episodes that barely contribute anything, and there's some filler that just contribute absolutely nothing. Like Snake Catastrophe. Snake Catastrophe contributed basically nothing. And a lot of people do not like filler. They do not want a filler season. They want a more plot-based season and they feel like the filler episodes are just thrown in at random, disrupting the plot, which I definitely agree with. I definitely agree that the filler episodes should definitely be a thing on its own, kind of like Woo's Tease was when it was on YouTube. But yeah, my general overview. I liked the fire chapter, but I cannot deny that it can be better. It's good, but with a lot less filler in it, it would have been amazing and phenomenal. And I actually did a little system with my little Instagram system, and if I judge this season on the fire chapter alone, if the fire chapter was the entire season, I'd give it a 64 out of 100, which would just beat Tournament of Elements for me, but it's not enough to beat Sons of Garmadon. But I am not going to judge it based on one half like some people do. I hate people that judge on halves. I'm going to wait until the fire chapter comes out. Then I'm going to judge the entire season on its whole, not just on the fire chapter. I'm not going to do the average of the two scores, because the highest with the previous score, if the fire chapter is pretty much perfect, the highest score the entire season would get is an 82. And I'm not going to do that. I feel like that's a bit too harsh. So I'm going to judge it as one and not as, separate entities, because they are not separate stories. There are two stories that are connected to each other. However, one little thought of mine, and this is going to be controversial. I like how they handle the two plot thing. It's much better than how they did in Hunted. Now, yeah, I get it. You're thinking, I know a lot of people like Hunted because of the story dynamic. I personally did not like it at all. It was just flat out confusing for me. And that's why I like one at a time. I'm one of those people that has to do it one at a time, one step at a time. One at a time. You can't just go in between, because it's just flat out confusing. But that is my thoughts on the fire chapter. Did you like the fire chapter? Do you hate the fire chapter? Do you think the fire chapter was merely alright? What do you think about the fire chapter in the comment section below? I'm actually going to put up a poll with another iCard to say, did you guys like the fire chapter? So, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to subscribe, hit that red subscribe button and click on that notification bell to receive every video that I will upload. Hopefully more Ninjago content comes around. And I'll see y'all you folks in the next video. Bye bye.